welcome to English and Immigration, your source of information about Canada. The topic of today's video is culture shock. Now, when you arrive to Canada, if you're immigrating, not necessarily Canada, it could be any other country, as an immigrant, you will go through 5 stages of culture shock. Now, most people think that culture shock is a surprise that you get once or twice. It's not exactly so. There are 5 stages, and today we're going to talk about all 5 of them. And I'll also give you some tips on how to deal with the difficult stages. So, stage number 1. Stage number 1 is the so-called honeymoon or tourist stage. When you've just arrived to the country the first time, you feel a lot like a visitor. You feel like a tourist. That's why the name. So you're discovering the new place. And if immigration was your choice, not your husband's choice, not your family choice, but you actually chose to immigrate, then you will feel quite happy and excited and interested, curious in this stage. So you're going to walk the streets of the city, look at everything, you do sightseeing, you visit places like museums or zoos, right? And you would look at houses, people, how people dress, you're going to look at dogs, and a lot of things would be strange but very interesting. And you'll be probably trying Canadian foods, and you'll be going to the malls and experiencing Canada. What is Canada, right? And then, after you visit all those places of interest, something will start to change. So this first stage doesn't last very long. It could be anywhere from a couple of days to maybe a couple of weeks. Now, some lucky people, maybe a year. But then something happens. And this something is your feelings, your emotions begin to change. Now, you're entering the second stage, which is the most difficult and terrible stage. And that's number 2 here. So this is the stage, it's called crisis. Just from the name of it, you can already tell it's no fun. Now, you start feeling homesick. You start feeling lonely. You miss your friends, you miss your family. Those people who are not in Canada, you start feeling it. Now, some immigrants feel sad. Some immigrants feel angry in the second stage. Now, if you cannot speak English very well, this will be even more difficult, because you'll be shy, confused, insecure, and you cannot understand people, people cannot understand you. It's not a good feeling. And you might feel very frustrated. Suddenly you realize that my English is not good enough, and maybe I have to go to school and learn. Right? So another thing that happens during the second stage is your body changes, and not in a good way. You might start getting headaches or body pain. You might get insomnia, like you cannot sleep, or maybe the opposite, you sleep too much and you never feel fresh, you never feel rested after that. Now, this is by far the most difficult stage for any immigrant. And suddenly what happens is you start thinking about back home, your first country, and you start idealizing what was back home. You start thinking, oh, back home was so wonderful. The life was so wonderful. And here in Canada, it's so bad. And you might start questioning your decision. You might start thinking, maybe I should return. And I just want to let you know that those questions and those feelings are normal. Everybody has them. Some people just a little bit, some people a lot. So, like I said, normal. Don't think it's just you, it's everybody. Now, the only people who might not have them are refugees, people who left their country because there was war, because there was torture, because of something absolutely, their life was terrible, and now they come to Canada. It's like, oh, here life is wonderful. I love it. I'm staying here. So refugees tend not to have that. So the crisis stage, you might be thinking, okay, how long? Unfortunately, it's different for everybody. But the good news is you have the control over how long it is. You can take certain actions, and we can talk about it just a bit later. The actions that you can take to make yourself feel better and go faster through this stage and transition to the next one. Now, so number three is a little bit better. Number 3 is called the coping stage, or the adjustment stage. So you feel better, not really emotionally, but you feel better because your knowledge starts growing. You may be improving your English. You may be learning about Canada. You may be learning about Canadian systems. Right? And you have experienced already so many things in Canada. You know how to, go to your doctor, how to make appointment. If you have children and you go to parent-teacher interviews, and again, you know how it goes usually. Things become usual, right? And so you are learning about Canadian culture, you're learning about Canadian people, you're learning about Canadian systems. So you have already a lot more knowledge, and it feels good. It feels good to know. It feels good to understand. There still may be some surprises, but not as many surprises. Now, stage number 4. Stage number 4 is the beautiful, wonderful stage. You start feeling at home in your new country. Now, what happens is the culture you had before is one. Now you also acquired Canadian culture, and now you're richer. You have double, you have 2 cultures inside of you, and you realize it at the 4th stage. So that's just a good stage. You understand, you appreciate both cultures. You understand the differences, you understand the similarities, and suddenly you feel stronger because your knowledge has grown and you're a foot taller at this point. Right? You had so many challenges, and you had to overcome those challenges. You struggled, but you survived. And you know how they say that what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger? Well, if the immigration doesn't kill you, and it won't, it will make you stronger. You're a stronger person inside. You have that much knowledge. Now, the last one, you might notice I put a plus here, +5, not the next. It's not really the next. It can happen, say, maybe even here. The 5th stage is called reverse like opposite, reverse culture shock. Now, what happens is, one day you're going back to visit your first country, and suddenly you're surprised, or maybe shocked at something, maybe a small thing. It's not what you expected it, and suddenly it's different, and you feel different. And that happens because you have changed. So you realize, oh my God, I have changed. It's a very interesting feeling when you experience it. And what that means is you have grown. Your understanding has grown so much. And that's why you're surprised. You forgot certain things. So that's stage number 5. Now we're just gonna go back to stage number 2 for a bit, because this is the most difficult stage, and something happens, unfortunately, in Canada to many immigrants, is when they're in this stage and they're already eligible for health, to get the health card insurance, they start feeling, remember we said they start feeling headaches or body pain or something that's not right, maybe stomach. So they go to the doctor and they say, "Doctor, I feel so bad. I feel sad. I feel depressed." And the doctor said, "Oh, you feel depressed? No problem, no problem." So, okay, here we go. There they do. They write a prescription for a medication that is antidepressant, but that medication will not work for you because you're not sick. The second stage is just a stage. It may be very long, but it's a stage. And what you need is you need to get to number 3 and then you need to get a number 4. You don't need medication. So be careful with that because that happens. And it's not a disease, it's a normal, you need time. Your brain needs time to adapt. So at this stage, what you can do, there are a couple of things you can do to make you feel better. Number 1 is understand that this is normal. Your feelings are normal, acknowledge it. Yeah. All immigrants, almost all, except refugees, feel sad at this stage, feel angry at this stage. Normal. Now the next is to give yourself time, and you cannot just jump from 1 to 3. Nobody jumps. So you need to give yourself time to go through that stage. Now another thing important, very important, especially in Canada, because Canada's a cold country. So what happens is people tend to stay home. Do not stay home. Go to school, volunteer, find a hobby, go visit a new place, anything. Just do not stay home. It's the worst mistake you can make at stage number 2 is stay home. Don't. Now, next thing that could help you is move your body. Again, because Canada is a cold country, there's snow, there's cold, I don't want to move, you need to move. Not for your body. It's not exercise. I'm not saying you must exercise. I'm saying you need to move because that affects your brain. Now, human brain is very big for a reason. There's a big body that we need to move. So if you're moving your body, it will help your brain. It will help to get through to the next stage. Okay, so make sure 30 minutes, go for a walk, move. Find a hobby if you can, or do the same hobby as you used to do. Don't stop. And last one, but it should really be first one. Start building your new network. So what happened is your friends, your relative, everybody you knew before, your co-workers, your neighbors, everybody, you left them behind. That's your old network that you left behind. You need the new one. So start meeting new people. And that's why I'm saying don't stay home. You go out, you meet new people. You start building new network. And that network will support you and will hold you through this stage and help you move to the next one. So network is by far the most important thing. So I'm gonna put it here. Network. Meet new people. New people. You need new people. So that's by far the most important thing that will help you in the second stage. Okay. So I hope this was useful information, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.